And the bottom left in the blue. It's for Storm Gaming. Haas.
And his opponent spawning up at the top right for the Shopify Rebellion. It is Lambo. And we have got something completely wild already. Look at this. We have got a gold base coming up here. I am so confused by this, though, because Haas is attacking the cooling tower with a single probe. It is going to take forever to kill that.
Okay, so Steadfast, here's the game plan, right? The gateway's going to finish. He's going to get a Zealot out, and that's going to happen. But then the Zealot, right? No, the cooling tower won't hit any of these structures, so you don't
he can put a structure underneath it to destroy it. He can build a pylon next to it and then cancel it. That's got to be the game plan here. Okay, he's gonna build a gateway. Yeah, that's okay. That's what he's gonna use.
Yeah.
It should have, because cooling tower does 500 damage when it lands. So Haas, it looks like he's got this all calculated out. This is cool. This is a really cool concept. Yeah, gateway passes 500 HP in aggregate. Cooling tower is going to go down. Haas has to be careful that he doesn't kill his own probe. But this is the kind of shenanigans that we were talking about. This is what you need to do. And right now, Lambo, there it is. There's the cooling tower. He gets it canceled, basically.
Oh, this is a full wall.
Gold base is up.
Like, look at this as well. This is a full wall here.
It's a wall.
Link Flood does not find your way in, so you recall 12 probes, 16 probes. They will be untouchable for quite a while into this game.
Oh, Haas realizes that it is in fact a full wall. And he's like, oh wait, I actually do want to be able to move probes around here, I think. Lambo is going to see this. I wonder what the response is. This is a 16 patch gold base, but do you even need to respond to this? I'm not entirely sure. There's also no wall in the main base, and there's no production here. It's just the one adept that was, he just shaded it over, right? Yeah, he didn't recall. There's no reason to recall. But I think if you just lane flood the main, okay, we are going to see a wall. As long as he's got the wall up by 330, it should be fine. But it's actually, okay, Haas is ready for this timing, this specific timing at 330.
Yeah, okay.
And he will drop the full wall. Okay. And it's going to be Twilight Council, so robotics facility at the third base. There's the recall. This looks seamless. Haas has got this. He's got the setup.
I mean, just because he has the setup doesn't mean it works, because Steadfast, you talked about, like, okay, I don't know if you need to link flood this or not. My question, like, how does the growth curve work out, right? Because it is almost 4 minutes by the time that Haas is effectively mining out of this gold base. Yes, you get a gold, and that's fantastic, and it's effectively a base and a half once you bring yourself to 16 probes, but you're not mining out of it solidly until like 4 minutes. You could be mining from your natural at like 2 minutes. So, yeah, I don't know that it is necessarily going to be worth it. That being said, the mind game of going for something weird like this and the Zerg feeling pressure to respond is a powerful thing in and of itself. So for now, the Overlord finds his way into the main, sees the Twilight is researching something, sees the double gas, 1 out of 3 on both. And if I'm
one
Lambo,
out of 3 is a show.
Yeah, exactly. If I'm Lambo here, I'm reading charge lots out of this, right? Gold base, 1 out of 3 on. Yeah, this does not feel like Stalkers.
No, it doesn't at all. It does not feel like Blink. There it is. He resaturates the gas. Okay, up until this point, I wasn't the most on side with this. Now I'm like, okay, hell yeah. Great scout from Lambo. He sees the gas at the third base. For now, Lambo's economy on 48 drones is already decent, but now that he's got the read, I think this makes things a lot easier for him. I was going to say I don't like the blink because like charge is going to hit so much harder, but Lambo was anticipating that. So the fact that it was this mind game is so smart from Haas, but Lambo with the scout, the rescout, should know what's going on, at least a decent amount. He could be thinking this is maybe a fake. Oh my God, look at the third Nexus.
God, I love Haas. And I don't think this is yes, this is a blink timing, but this is a +1 blink timing, right? Yeah, you move out when you have blink. You try to make something happen. But because of everything that Lambo has scattered and everything he's figured out, we see him pumping units. 6, 7 roaches are on the way. Lair is done. Certainly having roach speed is going to be nice. I was a little worried. It's like, oh man, getting a lair against a quick timing. That's 100 gas. It feels rough. But I think this timing from Haas here is designed around +1 being done. Not the initial blink timing. And get whatever you can out of that. And if that is the case, I mean, Lambo's only had 50 drones. I want to, like, he's got such a big army supply lead that maybe he can run across the map and crush the gold. But if that doesn't happen, he's built his army too early based on kind of what Haas has shown, and more importantly, kind of what he hasn't shown.
Yeah, this is a really funky setup because Lambo, like you said, is very far ahead in supply. The thing is, I think if he does realize what's going on, the best move might just be to literally keep making units and just go for a big crush on what his opponent's got. Okay, Lambo is going to find this third base. He's going to find that it's done. Sees a cannon there. And there's the recall of some probes. Is that from the main base or the... Okay, it's from the main.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense. +1 weapons will complete. Lambo, now he's got a really tough decision ahead of him. Do I just go for it and hope that the fact that I've been building a ton of units gets the job done? I think the answer is a resounding yes. He's about to have roach speed. He's got so much army supply. Haas has now created a position where Lambo's the one who is all in, but those supplies do tell a tale, and it is that this defense is going to be so difficult, if not impossible.
Yeah, I would have loved to see Lambo run across the map pretty much as that recall happened. Like, you run into the main, because there is no way that Haas can cover all 3 of these bases without recall. It's impossible, even with blink, even with a warp prism. The map is too big, and Protoss units are too slow. So for now, though, he's going to establish position on the low ground outside of this gold. Stalkers blink to build a concave, and Lambo rotates onto the other side right now. Force field's going to be decent here. A couple roaches will follow before anything gets started in earnest. But Haas has to be so careful here. It is really a scary situation, and Lambo's outpositioned him. This is a massive concave for Lambo. Great force fields, though, are going to zone half the army out here. Stalkers blink back. +1 versus +0. But now the force fields are starting to fall, and Lambo, he is just swallowing this thing whole. Yeah, you know what? Great build from Haas. Really interesting. Lambo just built a lot of roaches and killed him, and we were talking in the break steadfast about how a game that is this figured out is not good for Haas, and we're seeing it. Lambo's like, okay, fine, you're doing something weird. I'm gonna build 170 supply of roach army, and you are going to not be able to sustain massive biles there. 9 workers go down off like 2 biles, and oh geez, that doesn't feel good.
I mean, this is what's supposed to happen theoretically when you take a gold base, is that it's difficult to defend. You can't hold it if it gets kind of spotted out and figured out. Now, in this case, it had a chance to pay off, but Haas didn't use it at its big timing spike. And Lambo, I mean, he's just going to take this one down very quickly. It's so unfortunate because this was such a cool build from Haas, but Lambo's just got way too much supply. He's even going to corrosive bile down the observer on the left side. Brilliant stuff. And I mean, I just don't see a way for Haas to hold on. If Lambo hadn't attacked for another maybe minute, maybe Haas can get enough units out to deal with this. But Lambo kind of draws Haas out of position. Haas, I think, was a little bit too overconfident with his army. And as a result, it is Lambo who is he's just barreling through. Yeah. Haas is doing a good job of kiting and buying time, but it's simply a numbers game.
Now, I don't even think it was Haas being too overconfident. I think you recognize that given the army that Lambo had, he couldn't allow Lambo to establish a really solid position, like a siege up position on him. But he's going to blink on top of these roaches here, and he thinks he's got something. But no, the probes are going to get pulled. This is, again, still not going to work. Reinforcements are going to find their way in. It's a slow death, but it is a death nonetheless for Haas here. There we go. He's going to tap out. But I don't even think that was overconfidence, really, out of Haas's army there. It's like, okay, well, if you find your way onto the high ground and you're just sieging away at my gold base, I'm not going to be able to hold on. I'm going to lose. So I need to hopefully play around the gaps, play around the force fields. Maybe I can take a win. But as that didn't happen, a little bit rough. That being said, we do have more games in this series. And Steadfast, I would love to see, I don't know, max packs, hero, something like that. Try to execute that build from Haas, because I think maybe, if you are someone who has the mechanical skill and you play a weird build like that, maybe that's a little bit more possible. I don't know. But for now, it is Lambo up 1-0, and we get another pretty... So Haas had higher seed. So game 1 was Altitude. Okay, Haas is big. Lambo, though, we get another good Zerg map. Gressvon is going to be map 2, and I think there are less aggressive... I think there are less interesting options for Haas on Gressvon compared to, say, Altitude or... I think we're going to see probably another gold base go down on Royal Blood, for example. It's just given what Haas has shown us, but Gressvon's not one of those maps.
It's going to be tricky. I mean, to be honest, we just kind of see the skill differential in that first game. Haas got to do everything that was like that you could want from that gold base. Like, he fooled his opponent with the double gas in the main. He got away with the gold base. But at a certain point, it does come down to execution, and Lambo just didn't panic. Not at all. And I think there is a certain degree of requiring that panic for that build to work. And I mean, I don't want to say I think we need to see standard play of Haas, but
standard play
I don't know
from
what
Haas,
you're going to do.
Standard play for Haas means that we have a 3-0 on our hands. Like, I hate to say it like that, but if you... Maybe the games go a little longer, but standard play from Haas it gives him no shot. We need to see something interesting, but I don't know. We're gonna. I mean, granted, it's Haas, and he can always throw something out, but I don't know what we're gonna see that is good enough. But for now, he's got a probe on the map, so we're gonna get into game 2. In the bottom right, sustaining against the gold base shenanigans, whatever Haas threw at him. He's up 1 now in this best of 5, looking to move on once again. It's Lambo.
And all right, we're just going to take a look at the proxy on the map. It's proxy 3-gate. Out of this, man, it's Haas for Sidestorm Gaming. This is what I wanted to see. Something like this, something wild, something absolutely bonkers. He's going to drop a pylon on the natural location. Okay, now we're talking. Now we're getting to the level of debauchery and wildness that we need to see out of Haas.
How wrong was I to say, it's Gressvon. He can't do anything on Gressvon. There's no craziness here.
Oh, no, you can always do something anywhere. It's just, will it have any chance of working whatsoever? And this may get a kill on the natural. The question is, because it seems like he does want to expand behind this, at least potentially. The question is, what is the follow-through going to be, and how will Lambo read this? Can he read this correctly? Because, of course, he's going to be able to pump out some queens. He will see that there is a pylon at the natural, no wall. This might make you think Nexus first for the little bit, or potentially even just gateways on the high ground. But Haas is going to be committing to this pretty hard.
Yeah, Lambo's got the read so hard.
Zealots. Okay, now the spine crawler comes down. This little bit of time that Lambo could have misread this, though, might actually be enough. Drones are going to get pulled from the natural. Okay, Lambo didn't misread this. He didn't misread this enough to die, but he might have misread this just enough to maybe take some damage.
Yeah, let's see. So now the Zealots in the main base here. The spine's just about done. And I love the idea from us, right? The pylon there in the wall. It's just to say, hey, first Overlord, I'm expanding. Take 3 seconds and figure it out. But at the end of the day, you're right. Lambo does figure it out. He sees that there is actually no Nexus. But now that's a lot of Zealots on a hatch. And this Queen in a corner, she's going to go down as well. So dead Queen. The hatch... I don't think there's like 1 transfuse, so the Lings are going to have to commit onto it. Spine on the low ground here. Lings are starting to fall, and you got to be so careful. Yeah, this is a lot of Zealots here. If you commit onto this, you got to be confident you're going to be able to do so. So now they're zoning out for the Spine. Spine getting heavy damage, but now the Zealots are on top of it. And notice Lambo keeping the transfuse for the Spine here. So the Spine will eventually fall. There's a second one on the way, and it seems like with Ling speed here, yeah, Lambo's totally fine. He's okay. On the other side, looks like Lings ran across. They got a couple probes as well, and Lambo 2-0.
Yeah, excellent defense. Excellent defense from Lambo. Haas, the pylon did a little bit of work to slightly confuse Lambo, but it wasn't enough. Was not enough. I was thinking when he went to the low ground that there was a big opportunity for Haas to get something done there, especially after he picked off the first queen. But he couldn't let that spine burrow, and it did, and it got so much damage. And Haas, I mean, he just
it's the speed run is what it is. Like, I love the ideas. You look at this like, okay, this is really smart. The mind games, I can feel my brain developing new folds every time, and it's fantastic. And then he just loses because the game is too figured out. Everything. What are you gonna do? Like,
yeah, there's only so much that mind games and strategies can carry you in this. And Haas, I mean, he's come ready to play, but Lambo is just such a smart Zerg, and he is dealing with this so well. I am really curious if this would have worked potentially against Ragnarok, if Ragnarok would have been able to sniff some of this out, or if Haas might have been able to drag him around a little bit more, because Haas didn't know if he was playing against Lambo or Ragnarok. He knows it's a Zerg, so he's made some builds to go up against Zerg players. But I think Ragnarok might have been a little bit more mind gameable. I don't want to say that for sure because Ragnarok is a very clever player, of course. But Lambo is maybe the least mind gameable player. Period.
Or the most, right? Because he thinks so hard about the game and he thinks so deeply that you can, and we see this happen sometimes. You can get his mind spiraling off on one track about how something's going to happen, and it's going to be the opposite, right? That's how he, that's how he can lose some series. Not saying it's likely, obviously, but certainly that maybe can be the idea. At the end of the day, though, it's not working in this series. Haas is down 2. Let's see if he can make a comeback happen as we get ourselves ready. It's game 3. It's Dragon Scales. Bit of a smaller map this time. In the bottom right, in the blue, he's down 2, but hopefully, we pray he's got more shenanigans in store. It's Haas.
And his opponent spawning up at the top left, dealing with everything so well. It is the Shopify Rebellion's Lambo. And I really do want to give credit where credit is due. These are not easy things to notice and realize in the moment. Like that spine crawler he built in the mineral line was exactly what he needed. It was just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic out of Lambo. And he has dealt with all of the shenanigans that Haas has thrown at him. Game 1 really was a lot of high-level mind games from Haas, and Lambo just calmly swatted them away. Like, I really do think that a lot of Zerg players could have faltered in that game number 1 with all the layers to that mind game. But Lambo, he didn't. Oh my, wait, what? Is Haas gonna take a quick third Nexus?
Do it.
Oh my God, Haas is 7 billion IQ.
I mean, this would be, I guess, technically taking a page from like a max build from an Estrella build. You take the quick third and you do something.
This is a Hearthstone beating Grandmaster with stupid stuff.
Okay,
no, it's a proxy robo. Oh yeah, it's one gas. It's one gas out of Haas. Okay, yeah, this is as all in gets. Will Lambo recognize it? Haas has done this build a few times, so Lambo's going to know it's in his arsenal.
Yeah, sir. I'm a little disappointed though. I would have loved the
wanted the
Mega
third
Creed
Nexus so bad.
This is cool too. Like, don't get me wrong. It's fun. Single gas proxy robo. Very interesting, right? It's not something that we see in the meta all that much. It's a lot of heavy aggression finding its way early. Lots of gateway units get a Warp Prism, but even still, proxy third Nexus at like 3 minutes. Not quite three Nexus before gateway. Like I think Eternal Empire we saw Estrella do once upon a time, but still very interesting. Regardless, this is what we see here, and it's gonna get scattered up by Lambo.
Yeah.
Question
Lambo
is if
knows.
Is it going to be scattered out quickly enough, right? The Warp Prism's halfway done.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely it is.
Hey.
All you need to do is see it coming, and Lambo will see it coming. He knows who he's up against, and he checks the whole map. He's going to see this coming. He has already got link speed done. It was Warp Prism first, but Lambo checks back in, sees that the robotics facility is still running, He's going to start up a Roach Warren. He needs to pump out Queens. He does need to, of course, be a little bit careful because it's such a razor's edge defense that it can still go south for you if you just miss micro a little bit. But he's gotten the information, and that's already a huge jump.
Yeah, Steadfast, let me have my fun here. Let me pretend that Lambo maybe didn't scout this enough. Give me my Scoping, but you're right. This should be enough for Lambo to scout. 4 gateways are on the way. They're not there just yet. And now Lings are starting to get pumped out. We got 4 Queens at the front. Roach Warren, it's almost done. Now Lambo has to be careful. Doesn't want to lose the Overlord. That would get him pretty close to supply blocked, and his roaches pop out. That's still a bit obnoxious. But getting that creep tumor out is so nice. Actually, really getting
nice,
creep on the high ground is massive here. We're not going to have an observer out. Yeah, there is not going to be. Haas cannot deal with this. So
he literally doesn't have any more gas. He stopped mining it. It's pure Zealot from here on out.
The fact that Haas is going to have to contend with creep this far forward, the fight is going to be so much easier for Lambo.
It will, but this is a lot of Zealots. Roaches are not out in numbers yet. Queens do have transfuse, but one of them does fall. Second one is going to go down. Nope, only still the first one, but War Prism. Oh no, he leaves it too far hanging. Roaches, they're going to be able to drive the army back. This War Prism gets absolutely pummeled, and Lambo holds so easily, so comfortably. He just needs to pump units at this point, and it's looking like a speed run for sure.
Hostily is trying to leave this series. I do think it is important to point out how close of a razor's edge that was, though. I mean, you heard it in your voice. Lings were starting to fall. Roaches were not out in numbers, not enough, not yet. The Queens were starting to fall, and if you lose your Queens, you really run out of opportunities to hold. But now at this point, well, the Roaches are here. Lingsley looking for this round. Warp Prism solo baiting Queen shots goes down. And now, I mean, the Queens matter, but they matter so much less because there's just no warping potential anymore. There's no gas for it. So Haas is dead. Hostily finds his way out of this round 2. And at this point, I mean, Lambo shows us just why he is as good as he is.